Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we'll be taking a look at the Kamen Rider X8 DX Gashacon Parabragun. Parabragun? I don't know. It's a very strange name. Obviously, I believe the para part of the name comes from Parado or Paradox, however you like to pronounce his name. But then it's a bra gun. As far as I know, it does not dispense or target bras, so I don't know why it's called a bra gun. I don't think he keeps it in his bra. I don't know. It's a very strange name, but it's a pretty neat looking weapon. I like the color scheme. Obviously, it has an axe mode and a gun mode, so that's kind of cool. Obviously, it is wielded by Kamen Rider Paradox, Perfect Fighter. Perfect Knockout. That's what I always get the name wrong. Perfect Knockout. But yeah, so here's the front of the box. Very cool there. I like that a lot. Taking a look at the side, displaying or featuring the axe mode. Taking a look at this side, displaying prominently the gun mode. Taking a look at the bottom. Kind of a cool picture there. I like that. Spin this around. Take a look at the top. Pretty cool picture there as well. And it shows the old forms. Perfect Puzzle and Knockout Fighter. And then here on the back you can see it shows you both modes. You can switch back and forth. You can hit the B button up to 10 times, which is nuts. And then obviously you can put in the Gashacon gear dual there in the back, which we'll take a look at all that. It does require 2 AAA batteries, so just be ready for that if you pick this up. Let's get him out of the box and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here it is, straight out of the packaging. It does come packaged in the gun mode. Takes 2 AAA batteries, as I mentioned before. They go right here in the hilt. Real quick, just kind of a eagle eye observation. This whole section from here down really reminds me of the hilt of the Gashacon sword, which I'm sure is not an accident. I'm sure it's the same piece, recolored. Oops, still turned on. And then it has a double Gashat slot instead of a single. So it's probably like some recycled or at least just the same piece from the Gashacon sword, but then with a double instead of a single slot. So as you can see, the on and off switch is right here. So if we go ahead and turn that on. So they kind of call it the Gashacon Parabragun, even though it's BRA instead of like a BRE, they pronounce it Bray, which is interesting. In this mode, you can see this is the gun mode. I just want to point out real quick, I love the intricacy of the puzzle design over here with the puzzle pieces. It's kind of a nice metallic-y blue paint, and I really like that detail. I think that looks fantastic. Sadly, it's kind of my favorite part of the whole toy. It just looks really cool in my opinion. So if you press the trigger in the gun mode, get kind of a generic blaster sound. Now if you hit the B button, it says Ichi. Okay, so then if I hit twice, so it'll keep doing that, so I'll just like jump up to 5. So it's kind of neat. It's kind of similar to like the Budo Ryuho in the way that depending on how many times you hit it, it counts. And then when you pull the trigger, you know, it'll do that many shots. Like with the Budo Ryo, I'm probably saying that wrong, but the grape gun from Kamen, depending on how many times you could squeeze the trigger, it would remember and it would do that many shots. And if you like, you know, delayed it in between, it was a pretty cool toy. This is somewhat similar to that. You can go all the way up to 10. So I guess because you managed to get 10 shots, you get a little cheer at the end, which I think is kind of hilarious. The back of this thing, pretty plain, just the hunking giant slot here on the back. I'm going to go ahead and while we're still in the gun mode, I'm going to bring in the Gashacon gear dual, which I believe I have turned on. So how this works is this slot is actually blank, but there's something in this slot here so that it can tell when you slide something in. So I'll go ahead and pop this in. So there you get the critical strike sound. And then there is a button on top of here to pull this out when you pull that out. But all the sounds come out of this. This thing, even though turned on, does not get triggered to make any sounds. Now, I wanted to point out that if you were to use a different dual Gashat, so you can see you do get different sounds, but that's all on random chance. It doesn't have to do with what Gashat you have in, because it's not a reader of any kind. Not that any of the toys really are readers, but it doesn't trigger any sounds to come out of the Gashat, so you're always going to get the perfect sound in this mode, and then in the axe mode, as you'll find out in a minute, you'll get the knockout sound. So you could even take one Gashat and just, like if you were to put this in here, it'll hit the button on this. Oops. And then in that case, it's triggering the buttons on the Gashat. But if you slide it into this, it thinks it's a dual Gashat because all the Gashat is doing is hitting a button down inside here. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see because it's all black, there's a button here to press the button on the Gashat, but there's no button on this side. So if you slide a single one in here, it's not going to hit any buttons on this. It's just going to hit the button inside and make it think it's a dual. But if you slide it in on this one, the button will actually hit this and trigger the sounds in this. So that's just kind of some of the fun you can have with single ones. But no matter which double one you put in, it's always going to make the same sounds. Now you can hit the A button, and it's not really spring-loaded. You just kind of have to hold it down while you swing it around. So those are the two sounds it makes when you swing back and forth. But now you're in the axe mode. Nice gold finish here on the side. You have some cool flame metallic red paint up here, which I like. I think, or I should say, this is my favorite part just because it's such a neat detail. But sorry about that. The axe mode looks pretty good as well. As you've already heard, you get a kind of a generic axe swinging sound. And of course you can do this again. So you get kind of a cool chopping sound. So it almost sounds like chopping wood or something, because you can kind of hear like something breaking apart as he's chopping. So that's kind of cool. Bringing in another gear, or bringing this back in so we can pop this in. So I think I hit the button by accident as I was plugging it in. I don't know why. I seem to have trouble getting this in and out, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just the release buttons are not the best. But if you would slide this in without hitting the button by accident, so now it'll make the pulsating sound. So you get the knockout sound because it's in the axe mode. And again, it doesn't matter if you put one Gashat in this slot or any double Gashat, whether it's Mighty Brothers, the Gashat Gear Duel, the Gashat Gear Duel Beta, or even Maximum Mighty X. You're all going to get the same sounds depending on which mode you're in. So that's pretty much it for sounds for this guy. I do think it's kind of neat how you can do up to 10. They're fairly similar sounds. It just, replaces the number. Like, it'll count up to whatever number you stop at, make the sound, and then say that number again with the attack name. So they're not crazily individual sounds, but it's neat that it'll at least count up to 10, and you can technically get 10 different attacks on each version, so 20 total. I like the color scheme. Like I said, the paint's very nice in both modes. The puzzle pieces is still my favorite. It's very tiny as far as the hilt goes. But like I said, I'm pretty sure it's the same hilt from the Gashacon sword. This thing is gigantic. It's a big honkin' dual Gashat slot, which seems kind of gigantic on how big this toy is. But I mean, roleplay weapons are always kind of dinky. It's just the nature of, I guess their relative size for little kids in Japan. I don't know. Just my guess. But it's decent. I mean, it's like the rest of the Gashacon weapons where, does it knock my socks off? No, but it's neat. It's really going to be up to you whether you care about it or not. It doesn't come with any kind of exclusive Gashats or anything, so it's not a must-buy. But I think it's fun. Certainly as good as most of the other Gashacon weapons. It has 2 modes. You get some unique sounds with each mode. You have the Gashacon slot. Overall, I think it's pretty fun. So I've pretty much already said my piece on this thing. It's okay. I mean, it's the thing with the Gashacon weapons, you probably don't need every single release, get this or the Key Slasher or one, like, get at least one of the single slot Gashacon weapons, being the breaker, the sword, the gun, get at least one of those, and I would say get this or the Key Slasher. If I had to directly compare it to the Key Slasher, I guess maybe the Key Slasher is a little bit more exciting because that does get unique sounds out of each Gashat, whereas this just has some unique sounds in it itself. So it's kind of a toss-up. It's really going to be, I mean, if you want both, get both. There's no reason you can't have both. I was just saying I would at least get one or the other. I would probably lean towards the Key Slasher just because I feel like that has a little bit more functionality than this does. But it's perfectly fun. I mean, the paint job's nice. The color scheme's cool. I love that puzzle detailing on the gun mode. It's not a reader by any way. You're going to get the same sounds no matter what Yeah, okay. You're going to get the same sounds no matter which Gashat you put in there, whether it's a single or a double, as long as you put it in the right slot. So, there's not a ton of functionality there, but it is neat that you can get 10 different attacks, technically, with the B button in each mode. So there is functionality there. At the end of the day, I'm just kind of saying the same thing. It's okay. It didn't completely wow me, but I don't hate it. It's just very middle of the road. It has some functionality. It's fun. You might get bored with it eventually. Your mileage is really going to vary. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd like to hear your opinions. Please like and share this video, and please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the DX Gashacon Parabragun, or Bragun, however you want to pronounce it. Does not shoot bras, though. Just get that disclaimer out first. In any case, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching.